Good day, parents and children. We are going to look at short division today. What's very important is that you need to know your tables and division facts. We're going to look at this short way of dividing, and then tomorrow we're going to look at long division. They are very similar except for the fact that we don't write anything here at the bottom. Okay, I want you to listen very carefully and follow the steps that I use to get to my answer. If we look at this is the number that I divide 4 by. So the question, the number sentence will actually look like this. 548 divide by 4. This is how we write it. And then when we do the calculation, we write the number that we divide, the big number, we write inside this block, and then the divider on the outside. Right, so what is this? This is my answer. Okay. Right, so let's look how did they do this. Normally you will ask yourself, we're going to do it one digit at a time, okay? So first you ask yourself, can 4 divide into 5? Or you can write, can we say 5 divided by 4? Can 4 divide into 5? Yes. How many times does 4 go into 5? How many 4s can you take out of 5? You will be able to take 1 4 out, right? So then that's why we've written the 1 at the top there. So that means 4 divided into 5 once. But we know there will be a remainder, because what is 1 times 4? That equals 4. So what's the difference between 5 and 4? That would be 1. 5 minus 4 equals 1. And that would be my remainder. So you will see 4 divides into 5 once. And then you tell yourself 1 times 4 is 4. So the difference between 5 and 4 is 1. So the remainder is written above the next digit. Okay? So the 1 is written here above the 4. And now you're going to ask yourself, can 4 divide into, but not 4 only, 14. You're going to read it as a whole number there. Okay? So can 4 divide into 14? Yes. What's the closest number to 14 that 4 can divide into? That would be 12. 4 times what number equals 12? That would be 3. So 12 is the closest number to 14. And then you ask yourself, what is the, before I go on with that, so you said the closest number to 14 is 12. How many times does 4 go into 12? 3 times, okay? So that's why we write the 3 at the top. So 4 goes into 14 3 times. What is 4 times 3? That is 12. So what is the difference between 12 and 14? That is 2. So that is my remainder again. So I'm taking the 2 and I'm writing it here above the 8. So now it is not only 8 on its own, but it is 28. So now you ask yourself, can 4 divide into 28? Yes. What is 28 divided by 4? That equals 7. So 4 goes into 28 7 times. Okay, so this is the answer, 137. If you want to check whether you work correctly, you just go calculate it. So 137, and you multiply it with 4 to see if you get back to the original number. So 4 times 7 is 28. 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 2 is 14. And 1 times 4 is 4, plus that 1 is 5. So you can see you've got that number again, 548. So then this is how you check if you work correctly. Right, so that is the short way of dividing. So let's go test it again with 2 other examples. Okay, so let's do this one. 456 divide by 3. So you ask yourself, can 3 divide into 4? Yes. How many times? Once. What is 1 times 3? 1 times 3 equals 3. So what's the difference between 4 and 3? That is 1. So I write the 1 there above the 5. Now I'm going to ask myself, can 3 divide into 15? Not 5 only. Can 3 divide into 15? Yes. How many times? 5 times. What is 3 times 5? What is 3 times 5? That equals 15. Okay, exactly. So now you can just go on to 6. Now you ask yourself, because there were no remainder, now you can just say 3 divided into 6. Yes, it can. How many times? Twice. So then this is your answer. Always check whether you work correctly. Okay, so then you use the inverse operation to check whether you work correctly. So what is the inverse? That means the opposite. So what is the opposite of divide? That would be multiply. Okay, so then we will say, right, we're going to take 152, our answer, times 3, the divider. 2 times 3 is 6, 5 times 3 is 15, 1 times 3 is 3 plus 1 is 4. Is that the same as the number that's written here? Yes, it is. So I know that I've worked correctly. Okay, let's do the next one. 492 divide by 6. Now you start with the first digit in the block. Can 6 divide into 4? No, it cannot. Then we make a dot there for 0 because 4 is smaller than 6. So it cannot divide by 6. So what you need to do now is you need a helper. So you need the second digit. Now it changes to 49. Okay. So what is the closest number to 49 that 6 can divide into? That would be 48. Now I'm asking you, what times 6 equals 48? And if you know your times tables, you will be able to tell me that is 8. So 6 divides into 49 8 times. So what is 6 times 8? That is 48. So what's the difference between 49 and 48? That is 1. That's that little remainder that I will be writing above the 2 now. So this 2 is changing to 12. Now, can 6 divide into 12? Yes, it can. How many times? 2 times. Because 2 times 6 equals 12. Right, so that's the end of, there's no more digits left. So now you need to check whether you worked correctly. So you're going to do the inverse operation. Okay, so the inverse of divide is 2 times. So you're going to say 82 times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 8 times 6 is 48 plus 1 is 49. And is that the same as that number there? Yes. So you worked correctly again. Okay, I'm sure that you will find this not that hard. Remember, what's key here is to know your tables and your division facts. So I want to show you another question that you will see when you do green shoots. Division with remainders, but what I want you to see is this question where they have a missing number and then it says divide by 6 equals 8 remainder 2. And some of you might find it difficult to find the missing number. So what you need to do is, if you read this, right, like normal, so you would say something divided by 6 equals 8 remainder 2. You would read from left to right, right? So now what we need to do here is we need the inverse operation to calculate this. Okay, so what is that? The opposite operation. So what is the opposite of divide? That would be times. So I'm not going to say divide by 6, but we're going to say times 6. And then what is the meaning of remainder? So when we have a remainder, that means that you subtract it, okay, to get a remainder. So what is the opposite of remainder? That is adding, okay? So the opposite of subtraction would be adding. So that's why you will see they're going to say what they've done is give you the answer. So what they did is they said, okay, the opposite of divide by 6 is times by 6. So what they do is they take the 6 and the 8 and they multiply them. Okay, so what is 6 times 8? That is 48. Okay, then they take the remainder, and remember, a remainder means that you subtract it. So what's the opposite of subtraction? That is addition. You add. So now you're going to add the remainder plus 2. So 48 plus 2 equals 50. So the missing number is 50. So that's what they've written here. 50 divided by 6 equals 8 remainder 2. Right, let's try one for ourselves. So what we have here is something divided by 6 equals 9 remainder 4. Remember, you need the inverse operation. So what is the inverse of divide? That is to multiply. Remember, remainder meaning minus. So what is the opposite of minus? You will add. So we're going to say 6 times 9 plus 4. So what is 6 times 9? That is 54. And what is 54 plus 4? That would be 58. So the missing number here is 58. Right, so then your homework is I'm going to send worksheet number 1 and 2 through to your parents, and then if you can do brain quest number 7 for me. Thank you very much for listening.